Hey guys, what's going on? Kwame here, and welcome back to the channel. So today I've decided to make another beginner's guide video for Escape from Tarkov, and this one is going to be a PvP guide for beginners, which will consist of my tips, tricks, and pointers on how to fight at the resort on Shoreline. This video is specifically dedicated to new or beginning players who have been struggling with PvP at the resort, or just generally want to learn how to fight better at the resort. Even for intermediate players who have been playing this game for a while, you should probably stick around, because chances are there'll be something in this video that you didn't know, or you might not even have thought of beforehand. But maybe you did know it, maybe you don't. This video has been highly requested from my viewers, so I decided to finally get around to doing it. I know some of you have made requests on other videos you'd like me to do. I just want to tell you, don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you, okay? I haven't forgotten about you. I've just had a lot to do recently, and it's been really tough to make all the time that I need to do the videos that I want to do during this time, okay? So, by watching this video, this is what you're going to get out of it. You're going to learn some tips and tricks that I personally do when I'm fighting at the resort that helps me beat and dominate the other players and dominate the map. I'm going to be sharing my experiences with you and showing you some clips of my gameplay which came from my live streams, and through that I'm going to be showing you examples through my clips, and we're going to be talking about what happened and what it is exactly that I did that helps me beat the other players on this map, so then therefore you can learn from it too. You're going to gain a better understanding on how people fight on this map, and particularly at the resort, and I'm going to show you how to combat that and show you things that you can do to help you with that. Some of these things may seem basic or obvious to a lot of people, but you will be surprised at how people easily forget these things, especially during a gunfight. Hopefully after watching my video, you will then start dominating the map and be leaving with all that juicy loot that you've all seen me leave the map with at the end of my raids. I just want to point something out first before we get into it. There has been new additions to the map, that being the new Scav boss Sanitar and some new quests. This does not change the way you fight the players at the resort. Why is that, you might ask? Well, because the structure of the map is still the same. It's still the same layout. The new additions only mean that there is more competition on the map, and the focus of this guide is about the PvP and fighting the other players, and not the PvE and the AI scavs. The only thing that has really changed is the meta, and the meta is kind of poop right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future content, as there will be more videos like this one in the future. Subscribing does help me out quite a bit, guys, so thank you all to everyone who has been watching my videos so far and supporting the channel. I do appreciate it. Don't forget to drop by the live stream and say hello sometime, which is where I get all my footage from, and that is at twitch.tv/Kwame. All other details will be in the description box below. Now that we got all that stuff out of the way, guys, let's get into it. Okay, so I should probably start with this one first, since I know if I don't add it in there, someone's probably going to say something about it. If I haven't said it 100 times, I've said it 1,000 times. If you are a new or beginning level player, don't go through the main entrance, and the reason is simple. There are too many places for you to get shot, and you will get shot so many times you won't have any clue of where you got shot from. People have asked me, how the hell do you get to the resort without getting shot? Every time I go there, I can't make it to the front door. Simple, I don't go through the main entrance. It is best not to go through the main entrance unless you know what you're doing. Otherwise, you'll get shot all the way back to Sunday, like this guy right here. Look at that. Does that scenario look familiar to you? You just run up and you get dead. That was the easiest kill of my life, man. And that's why I don't go through the main entrance. Someone is always going to get ahead of you when you spawn south of the map. If you have a spawn on the map that is very close to the resort, you're probably going to get there first, and all those spawns usually take you to the back entrance and not the front entrance. And experienced players will 100% know this. So if you're not first, you're going to have to look at every single window, rooftop, and not to mention all around you for players who might be in hiding. What some experienced players would do is what I did in this clip, is that if you're first, You can go and wait for people to run up, and when they're out in the open like that guy was, it's just easy pickings. Only experienced players will know where to look when they're going to the main entrance, but if you're new, just stick to the entrance that I went to in this clip and you'll be fine. It's generally much safer than the front entrance. So do yourself a favor. Avoid the main entrance. Okay, so my second tip for new players is this. Avoid crossing the bridge which connects the east wing and the west wing. Crossing this bridge straight up sucks. Players get caught crossing this bridge so often it's unreal. Whenever you cross this bridge, pretty much everyone at the resort can potentially see you and will start taking shots at you, and there isn't much you can do about it. Sure, you can try and drop down, but usually by that time you're already dead. If anyone is ever on the other side of the bridge and they are in close proximity, they can hear you running up, and it's easy kills for them, just like in this clip here. I heard this group of players running across the bridge. Big mistake. And I literally just sprayed them all down and there was nothing they could do about it. If you decide to cross, you should cross through the admin building, which is the north building. It's much safer this way, generally speaking. And if you happen to get into a gunfight with people on the other side of the bridge, don't try and push them by crossing the bridge. Either run through the admin building or do what I did and go on the outside of the building and run across that way. It's also important to note that I threw a nade in the area where I saw the third player. I am not expecting this nade to kill him. I'm actually listening in to hear him move so then I will know of his general whereabouts and his location so then I can go after him. And also, if he's still around, he will be focusing on the sound of the nade and where it's landing, and he will not be focusing on me running out in the open trying to cross and get inside the building. I didn't actually end up finding this last player, so I ended up just looting his two teammates and then leaving. Some friend he is. So tip number 3 is something that I don't see players do all that much, especially with new players. People are generally afraid to take action, particularly when players are close by, and it prevents them from using this tip, and it definitely applies when you're fighting at the resort. There is no real short way of me saying this, so I'm just going to say it. Ready? When you hear that there is an enemy player close by, find him and kill him. Find out where he is and attack him. Now you might be thinking to yourself, wow, that's so obvious. How could that be a tip in this video? Ha ha ha. But like I said, not many new players or players in general will do this, and it's really important to go and deal with them sooner rather than later. You need to get rid of them now. Not tomorrow, now. As soon as I hear someone, I am running straight at them and I'm getting rid of them ASAP. If you don't, it will cause you problems later. If you hear someone entering the building that you are in and let them go freely, you need to get rid of them now and not later. As soon as you hear him and you know where he is, go and attack him. If you don't and you just leave him be, he can end up killing you later when you least expect it. It's best just to get on with it, go at him and get rid of him, and then resume looting. The main reason why you want to deal with that player now, as soon as he enters the resort, is because he can come back and pretty much bite you in the ass later. Because you can easily get distracted in this game. Like, for example, another team could just rock up, and then you'll end up fighting them, and then you'll forget about that one guy you let live, and as you're looting their bodies, feeling great about yourself, he just shoots you in the back of the head. It's just, man, it's just not worth it. Just go deal with him now. Just trust me on this. Go and deal with him right now. I always find that it is best to go and be aggressive and attack the players as soon as they enter the resort. Why is that? It's because I don't want to give the players a chance to do anything. Most people want to take fights on their own terms when they're settled in with good positioning, they're ready, they're comfortable, and most importantly, people will want to take a fight when they have an advantage over the other players. You don't give this to them when you push them. You are forcing a fight right here and right now. And why is forcing a fight like that so important, you might be thinking to yourself. What happens when you don't let a player get in a good position to take a fight with you and you just push them? You are forcing them to make an immediate decision which they are not ready for. You are not allowing this player a chance to think about how he wants to take this fight with you. You're not giving them a chance, not giving them an opportunity to move around and mobility. You're not giving them a chance to plan their attack. You're not giving them a chance to plan their escape. You're forcing them out of their comfort zone. You're putting them in a spot where they feel pressured. You're putting the pressure onto the opponents, onto the enemy players. People don't like it when they are forced out of their comfort zones, and they sure as hell don't like to be pressured. This right here is a perfect example. Look at this. Just like in this clip here, I heard a player enter the east wing. After I first heard him move, I started moving in his general direction. I listened in momentarily, I found out where he was, and I went at him. I put the pressure on him, and then I took him down. You can tell just by where this player was standing, he was not ready for me to just run at him and attack him. I didn't give him the opportunity to get into a nice comfy spot where he could be ready for me. I didn't even give him a chance to think about what he should do. I forced a fight onto him, and he clearly wasn't ready. And he didn't even know what to do about it. So you need to do the same. As soon as you hear someone, figure out where they are, go at him, put the pressure on him, kill him, and resume looting. Okay, so here's a big issue that you're going to run into while running into the resort. And this is going to happen frequently throughout your raids. You're going to have to learn how to deal with fighting multiple players at once, or in other words, learn to fight against a squad of players. This takes practice and experience to get the hang of. So here's one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you when you're fighting against a squad. The trick is to get them to fight you one-on-one and not all at the same time. Fight them all separately and not all together. You need to do your best to isolate each and every one of them and fight them individually. If you try and fight them all at once, you're going to get hit too many times from too many different angles and from too many different people, and you'll most likely end up dying. How on earth do you do that, you might be thinking to yourself? Observe. In this scenario here, I arrived at the resort late, and as I was approaching, I heard multiple footsteps in front of me enter the resort. So I knew there was at least 2 players I had to deal with. As I entered, I happened to catch one of them off guard. If you happen to ever catch one of them off guard, that is big. That is a huge bonus to you. You are slowly tipping things back into your favor. And this is the first step in winning this type of gunfight. You don't always need to catch one off guard, of course, but it definitely helps your chances of survival significantly. Watch what I do when I fight this first player. We gotta be upstairs, right? Did you see what I did? After killing that player, I immediately ran down the stairs to cover so his teammate couldn't get a shot on me. So if he wants to kill me right then and there, he has to go down the stairs and chase me, and therefore exposing himself out of his safe cover. In my opinion, it is always best after you get a kill, or even if you're spotted by an enemy player, I do something that I call change your look, which means basically change your position or change your angle. Never stay in the same spot, and always be on the move and changing your angle. That's exactly what I do, and it makes it harder for players to keep track of where I am and where I'm going. It makes me much harder to kill. After I reloaded, I went to re-engage this other player. He made a mistake here. He made a mistake by reloading, and I heard him reload. So during his mid-reload, I decided to capitalize on his mistake, and I pushed him, punishing his mistake, and I went in for the kill. So just like that, I took down a geared 2-man squad. Bickety bam, no sweat. So try and remember those points that I mentioned when dealing with multiple players. Isolate them, get them on one-on-one fights, don't try and wait for the quote-unquote perfect opportunity to occur, because chances are it won't happen, and instead make the opportunity happen. Don't forget, after getting spotted, to change your look, be aggressive, and remember to stay calm. Tip number 5 is pretty straightforward and will 100% help you out a lot when getting into fights at the resort. And the next tip is use laser sights on your weapons. Using a laser sight on your gun when it's close quarters like the resort will help you out a ton. Point firing in this game is massive, and if you don't know what point firing is, it's when you fire your gun without aiming down the side of your gun. You pretty much just hold down left click and shoot without right clicking. Having a laser on your gun will increase your point firing accuracy. Why is this important? It's because you're going to get into situations where you weren't expecting anything and someone just appears around the corner and you're not going to have time to be ready and place your crosshair onto someone's head and get that headshot. You're going to have to just react on the spot, and in that mere second, it could mean survival or getting sent back to the lobby. Just like this. Ooh. Do you see what I mean? I had no idea those two players were there. They literally just appeared out of nowhere. I didn't hear a sound from those two. I had no clue that they were sneaking up on me. I was forced to react and just fight on the spot, and that's where the laser will help you win your fights. I would not have been able to shoot so accurately in that situation without a laser on my gun. Don't be too worried or concerned if people can see your laser or not, because having the accuracy bonus from the laser is way more important and outweighs the possibility that someone could potentially know of your position by seeing where your laser is, because chances are that player knew you were there anyway. Tip number 6 is pretty easy and straightforward to do. Very simple. Use a grenade to distract or occupy your opponents. Sometimes you need a way to distract your opponent so you can make your move. Best way to do this is use a grenade. I get into a pretty standard situation here in this clip, and this other player and I happen to run into each other and we start taking fire. We exchange shots and he ends up retreating to the stairs. Instead of trying to push him straight down the hallway, I decide to go up from the bottom floor in order to go underneath him and get behind him. I throw a grenade up the hole and towards him in his general direction. I am not expecting this grenade to kill him at all. I'm actually using the sound of the grenade to distract him and to draw his focus onto the grenade and not onto me. I use the sound of the grenade to mask the fact that I am running up underneath him to come up the stairs behind him. I think I tagged him. Them. And there you go. I ended up killing him and his teammate, which I didn't even know he had a teammate. I thought it was just the one player, but it ended up being two. So there you go. That first player had no idea what happened. He was looking at the grenade and was thinking to himself, what the hell is going on? Where is this guy? What's he doing? And then all of a sudden I came up behind him and shot him in the side. As ridiculous as it might seem to waste your grenades like that, it works. As you can see, it works. Try it sometime. You'll thank me later. Okay, so tip number 7 is something that I have been asked a fair bit, especially during my live streams when I'm playing the resort on Shoreline. And that is, should I use a long-range scope on Shoreline? And my answer to you honestly is, if you're comfortable with it, then go for it. I mean, that's probably not very helpful for me to say that, but hear me out. There are going to be heaps of times when you're going to be so grateful when you've got a scope on this map. And not just at the resort itself, but on the outside. You might even get into a gunfight on your way to the resort, and you're going to be happy that you brought that scope. But for the most part, fighting at the resort is kind of close quarters, and so it could really hurt you having the scope, because you have to keep alternating between the scopes, between the long range scope and your your short range scope as well, and that can put some players off. Being able just having to keep swapping between the two. Even for me now, it's a pain in the butt. You know, I'd rather just have one and just that'll do it. You know, so I'm gonna leave it to you. If you are comfortable using a long range scope, as well as a short range scope, then go for it. They definitely do work. Just like in this clip here, I just blasted these couple of players here with an Elkin sight. So if you're comfortable using an Elkin or a Valde, a Bravo, Hammer sight when running to the resort, then you go for it. You go for your life. But yeah, I just wanted to put that in there and let you guys know that I feel like it is optional and it's not exactly a mandatory thing to be running scopes when you're running the resort. This final tip is actually a bonus tip for you guys. I figured since you all stuck around to the end, I would throw this in there just for you guys. This tip is more of an intermediate level tip, and it's for players who really want to get good at PvP and want something in their arsenal to give them a better chance of beating the other players. And the bonus tip is to start shoulder peeking. Learn how to shoulder peek in order to gain an advantage or an edge over the other players. This can be done anywhere and not just at the resort, and which is why it is so good. I don't have footage of me doing this at the resort, unfortunately, but it works pretty much anywhere on any map. I'm going to explain what shoulder peeking is, and then after that I'll explain how you can use it at the resort. This is a really good habit to get into if you start doing it even as a beginner, but it takes practice to get the hang of it and make it an everyday use in your arsenal. If you start doing this as a beginner, you will already have an edge over the other beginners and even intermediate players. So basically what you do is, you step out or you walk out just enough to gain vision of an area from behind cover, and then you step back into cover. This allows you to quickly spot your enemy without putting yourself in danger or exposing yourself. Let me show you what I mean. Got him. That's him. Woo! This next part is really important. I'm going to shoulder peek and sidestep into the next room as I'm healing, just to see if there's someone else hiding or camping in the next room. Did you see that guy right there, sitting in the corner? That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm looking for when I shoulder peek. And that's why shoulder peeking is so important. You gotta start doing it, man. It'll save your life, just like it did here with me. I'm gonna bring the video back just a little bit, so you can see that the whole thing in like full motion of what a shoulder peek's supposed to look like and how it saved my life. Having fun there, boys? So there you go. You can see how valuable shoulder peeking is. It just saved my life right there. And if it can save my life, it can sure as hell save yours. So start doing it. Start getting the habit of doing it from around corners. Start practicing it. Make it a tool, a part of your arsenal. Okay, so I need to explain how this works at the resort. You can use shoulder peeking when you're trying to look down down hallways to see if there's someone just crouching there or camping, and you can also do it when you're in the hallway and you're looking into rooms. You're trying to see where the player is in that specific room. You can shoulder peek and have a look and then go back into cover. And as soon as you spot him, come out and pre-fire him like I did in this clip. I shoulder peek, got vision of him, I know of his exact location, I go into cover, come back out, and then I pre-fire his spot and I take him down. So you need to start doing that. It's one of the best things you can ever start doing. So that's it guys, that's my beginner's guide for PvP tips and tricks at the resort. If you start doing these things guys, the resort won't seem so scary and it will be so much easier. And I hope after watching I have helped you gain a better understanding of how to fight here and how people fight at the resort. And hopefully soon after you're going to start dominating the map and just run all over people like it ain't nothing. Don't forget to like the video if you like this sort of content. I will be doing more videos like this one in the future. I plan to do videos which will be mostly based around PvP and how to improve your PvP skills in this game. With my videos in the future, I aim to get the skills of a beginner, get his skills up to an intermediate level, and with the intermediate level player, I aim to try and get his skills up to the advanced level. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done that, guys. It really does help me out a lot, and as I plan to keep doing these videos. Feel free to drop by the live stream sometime at twitch.tv/Kwame if you want to come by and say hello. I'd appreciate it. Really hope you learned something out of this video. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on the live stream.